Hey, it's Dan Lier, human behavior expert, international speaker and best-selling author, and of course, NBA analyst. So today's NBA Weekly is about playoffs. It's playoff time, and I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of the matchups. And we're going to start out in the Eastern Conference. We got number 1 Chicago against number 8 Philly. I think obviously everybody's disappointed about D. Rose going down yesterday, and Thibodeau's getting asked a lot of questions about should he have been in. Anybody who knows basketball realizes that Derrick Rose needed some more time, needed to get his timing back because a Chicago team with half of a Derrick Rose is not going to win a title anyway. So they needed to get him in here. And if you saw the injury, obviously, you know that there was no contact involved. It's just one of those things. With that being said, Chicago is a solid team. Their record was strong without him this year. So I look for them to actually sweep this series 4-0. So Chicago is going to win this series, although Philly is obviously getting better. Number 2 seed Miami against the New York Knicks. Well, game 1 was yesterday, and Miami blew them off the court. And I believe that this is going to be the way it's going to go down. Miami's going to win in 4. New York has no teamwork. They've got no chemistry. You might have Carmelo or Stoudemire having a big game. Miami's got too much power. And that defense that the Miami Heat brings during the NBA playoffs is absolutely spectacular. So look for Miami to sweep this 4-0. All right, number 3 Indiana Pacers against number 6 Orlando Magic. Now I think the consensus was that Orlando was going to roll over and die when Dwight Howard got hurt. But as you saw yesterday, Orlando came in and stole a game. They're moving the ball well, they're excited about it, they've got something to prove. And I will say Indiana's a better team and they're going to win the series. Indiana's going to go back and they're going to get the next game and they'll go out to Orlando and they're going to win. So Indiana's going to move on 4-2 in the East. This is one of my favorite series. Number 4 Boston against number 5 Atlanta. The Celtics are old. The Celtics are experienced. How many more years does KG have and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce? And it's kind of interesting that they've got Ray Allen coming off the bench now, one of the premier shooters in the history of the league, coming off the bench, extending the floor and giving them some threes. I like Boston. I like Boston to win this series 4-2. The Hawks are talented. The Hawks are loaded. They still don't move the ball well. They don't do good in a half-court set. And, of course, Boston is going to extend that defense and take away some of the things that Atlanta does well. So I look for Boston to win this series 4-2. KG moving to the 5. He's got fresh legs. He's alive. And the Celtics are going to move on in the East. All right, so let's go out to the Western Conference. First of all, we got the number 1 San Antonio Spurs against the number 8 seeded Utah Jazz. You got to go with San Antonio here. They're bigger. They're stronger, they're more experienced. Yeah, they're a little older. But the way they run the half-court set, led by Tony Parker, who's having an MVP year, and of course the experience of Tim Duncan, and their role players are second to none in the league. They understand their system, well coached by Pop, and they're going to win this series. Although I will say that I look for big things moving forward from the Utah Jazz. Tyrone Corbin's done an incredible job coaching, should have his name in the hat for Coach of the Year. And you've got Al Jefferson, which was one of the most underrated power forwards in the league, is finally getting a chance to show what he can do on a national level. San Antonio is going to come out and win the series 4-2, but look for a good showing from the Utah Jazz. Now we've got OKC against Dallas. The opening game was last night. This was a pivotal game. Obviously, Kevin Durant hit a shot at the end of the game to win the game by 1. The place was rocking, incredible environment, and here's the deal. OKC is too strong, too young, too up-tempo, and they are fresh. And so although the Dallas Mavericks gave it all they had last night, OKC wins. They're going to win this series 4-1. You've got 2 of the best players in the league. Kevin Durant coming off his 3rd scoring title in his young career, and Westbrook is developing into a perennial all-star guard. So this team is going to be tough to beat moving down the stretch. All right, let's move out to Los Angeles for the number 3 seed Lakers against the number 6 seed Denver Nuggets. I'm going with the Lakers in this series. The Lakers are going to win this series 4-2. Lakers are too big, too strong, too talented. And of course, you always got your go-to guy with Kobe down the stretch. Sessions is really bringing some additional balance from the point guard position. And we just need Gasol, if you will, to step up and play a little bigger. Bynum's having an all-star year, or he had an all-star year. And I look for big things for him going down the stretch. The Nuggets are a good team. They just don't have enough to bring to the table to beat the Lakers. So Lakers 4-2. Last but not least, the most interesting series in the West from my perspective is the number 4 Memphis Grizzlies against the number 5 LA Clippers. People get excited about the Clippers, Lob City, USA. You get all this talent, Chris Paul, you got Blake. Every night's a highlight reel. Yet they really struggle down the stretch to get something in the half-court set. If Chris Paul is not creating his own shot, they really struggle if they're not getting penetration. And obviously we all know Blake needs to develop that 15-foot Karl Malone jump shot to elevate his game. So I'm picking the Grizzlies in this series. The Grizzlies are going to win 4-3 in 7. They're too big, too strong. Zebo down low, Gasol. They've got a solid team. They're up-tempo, very good team. And the Grizzlies are going to win the series and move on. All right, last but not least, my NBA segment would not be complete without a little focus on human behavior. So let's talk about my man, Lamar Odom. Here's a guy who had a chance to go to the Dallas Mavericks and play with the NBA champions and help them win back-to-back titles. Yet he couldn't find it within himself to dig in and play basketball. He was so hurt from the trade and he felt betrayed. And I got to tell you, that's very sad. You know, when you study human beings and behavior, I'm telling you right now, I think we all know that wouldn't have happened if he didn't have involvement in some meaningless TV show. So, you know, it's sad that he threw his career down the drain like that because as a GM, from a GM perspective, who would want a guy like that on his team? So he really has only 2 places to play next year, if they'd be interested, and that's the Clippers and the Lakers. And you might sign the guy for the league minimum and see if he can help you come off the bench. But then again, as a GM, why would you sign a guy whose #1 goal is not basketball when he's bringing a lot of drama to the table? So Lamar, your best years are gone. You got to make your own. When you make your own bed, you got to lay in it. I'm Dan Lier, human behavior expert and NBA analyst, and I'm out.